Yeah, and this is what's going on in the world today with the sports media. Do you realize that they've cut the budget for sports media? None of you guys even knew about it. No, they're signing people on the internet. They got Cameron on the damn first take. They're signing everybody off of YouTube on first take. Why? Anybody that moves the needle. Cam Newton is on first take. You have anybody that has any attention that moves the needle, right? They're drawing attention away. Bring them to ESPN. Cam and Mace, they're doing their thing. Oh, let's get them on ESPN. And they was like, well, why didn't they bring Mace on there? Look, Cam is a businessman. Mace do things based on faith or what he feel is right to do. If he don't feel it, Mace ain't gonna do it. That's just it. Well, many of the people who don't understand or see, they always come up with their notion, right? Yeah, that's what I told you. It's done. This is why ESPN's budget has changed. Most people don't understand it. I follow all of this, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. ESPN's budget has dropped dramatically. They've made cuts everywhere. They've cut it and closed down places, locations that they used to have for studios, and just like the cuts they made when they got rid of like everybody. Sports Center is almost dead. So they got one Sports Center show that's like flagging up, but First Take is starting to tank, and they're going to start removing contracts over there too and readjusting salaries. ESPN is once again faltering because they're losing the battle to the internet once again. So now you're seeing the narratives are changing. So Stephen A. Smith, when it's time for this new contract, he think he's going to get a deal somewhere because in his mind, he's always living to please massa. And the reason that he's paid is to be their junkyard dog. Oh, absolutely. If we did everything that they wanted to do the way they said, like, oh, you guys got to do it this way. Come on. Why do you think that they're losing now? Stephen A. Smith want to have a debate. We say, come on, let's do it. He tried to go to war with Pat McAfee. For what? Pat McAfee didn't want to do your show. He don't need to be on your show. Stephen A. Smith was never somebody I was fond of. He was somebody we thought was like, oh man, like one of the brothers. And then he showed you he's the sell you out brother. No. Now, yeah, well, let's take a look at that for instance. I'm glad you stuck with me.
He had the audacity to come for the juice.
Came out to O.J. Simpson.
He tried to come for the juice, man. Now the Jews don't like this man. The Jews don't like him. And basically believes he's more of the so-called coon than anybody. He can't say those words as it pertains to O.J. Simpson or this dude he's literally buck dancing. And that's his career, just buck dancing. Like, I'm going to be the best buck dancer. Nobody's going to out-buck dance me. When we came up in here, I said, when I get back in ESPN, nobody's going to out-buck dance me. No one's going to talk about the brothers more than me. No, not here. Not today. I won't allow it. No way. No one. So he's not going to stop. Not this year, not yesteryear, not any year. He's not going to slow down. He's going to continue double down on the ignorance. Now, the only way he's going to change is somebody make him change by saying, we don't want nothing to do with this guy. I'm not going to even watch him. And that's what I do. I don't watch him. I tune him out. But people always find a gem, those who choose to watch what they want to watch. Knock yourself out. But he's very confident talking about other people, but he don't like talking about himself. Let's talk about that. Because you came after the Jews so adamantly. So adamantly. Right? You came after the Jews. But when they decided to surprise honor you and start talking about you ain't seem comfortable. You didn't seem to like that too much. Look at this, people. That's Stephen the Snake Smith. Watch this. He is so embarrassed.
Not far from Winston-Salem State, which is where my colleague Stephen A. Smith went to school. Is this correct?
This is correct.
Wait,
you went to school?
He did go to school.
I did not know he went to school.
Take a look at that photo. Woo! That's right, Stephen A. Throwback. So in honor of Stephen A.
He had no idea they were going to do this.
Vintage cutout of Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And from my understanding, you were a gunner. You were big with that three-pointer for what we were able to research.
I tell people all the time.
Get me the basketball. We need the basketball.
Is that life size? It looks like he shrunk a little since college, right?
Please. Hey, if y'all noticed, the hairline was just a little bit closer.
A little closer.
Oh, Carrie, she's laying it on thick. So she knows she get to clown him and everything today. This is great.
Little closer, but that's how it goes sometimes.
No,
That's
it
all
still
right.
looks
Those
similar.
are my days. Hey, listen,
It's still the same.
That was 25 years ago.
You guys give it up for Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
Our research uncovered that while playing at Winston-Salem State,
While trying to play.
you shot too many threes. You missed too many threes. Which doesn't surprise me at all because now you talk too much and you miss way too many points.
Now, Stephen A. Smith is insulted. Now he's insulted. He talks too much. He don't like for people to tell him that. His nickname was Screaming A. Smith. He didn't like that either. And look how he's mad. He don't like it when it's on him. When the joke's on you, you don't like it. You can't take it.
I would like to add this. Yet with all of that said, I'm sitting up here with you. All right.
Yeah, see, he got to get his shot in.
And by the way, another shot. Get him. My man here graduated from Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Next month, who's speaking at Vanderbilt? It ain't you.
Oh, no.
That would happen to be me.
Why are you speaking at Vanderbilt? What your ass doing at them colleges, boy? You ain't no hell of a nigga. That mama's cooking. What you doing speaking at them colleges, boy? That's what I want to know. That's what the world want to know. You ain't no hell of a nigga.
What has my school come to?
That's right.
Someone is holding up a sign that says to me,
Welcome
Skip,
to the Harvard of the South.
yeah, welcome to the Harvard of the South. That has been my affectionate nickname for Vanderbilt University, and I'm sorry, but Vanderbilt is the Harvard of the South. I'm sorry.
Stephen A. goes on a wild rant on O.J. Simpson because O.J. Simpson is getting paroled and put his own personal opinions in and stating them as if they're fact.
You don't get to do that. This was about a robbery with him trying to get back his own memorabilia, which, as he accurately pointed out, the state of California granted and gave it back. I think the state of Nevada, I'm sorry, wherever it was, they gave him back his own material, and that is that. So he definitely deserved to get out. Nobody's poo-pooing that. We all understand that for the letter of the law, the right decision was made. It's just that it's a damn shame that he gets to lean on the letter of the law. And the state of Nevada and the parole committee had to lean on the letter of the law because he's somebody that I believe doesn't only deserve to be in jail, he deserved to be under the jail. This man, as far as I'm concerned, is a double murderer. He's somebody that should never, ever, ever see freedom again, but it should be for the murder, for the double murder. It shouldn't be for this. But since it was just for this, the right decision was clearly made, and that is that. As it pertains to his behavior, how he conducted himself, I thought he showed his arrogance. I thought he was incredibly loquacious, entirely too talkative. The first advice that you receive from your attorney is to answer questions as succinctly and as concise as possible, to say very little. He talked entirely too much. I thought that was not the wisest thing for him to do on his part, but I thought that the parole committee was an absolute catastrophe. You had one individual there that was going to grant him parole that was wearing a Kansas City Chiefs tie, clearly an NFL fan. But in the case of O.J. Simpson, it was on the air every day. We saw the trial. We saw the evidence. We saw the ineptitude of Christopher Darden and to a lesser degree, Marsha Clark. We saw Judge Lance Ito and some of the mistakes that he made. We saw Johnny Cochran adroitly, skillfully, brilliantly play the race card. We saw Mark Furman get exposed for what he was. And so when you see that bevy of evidence, this notion that you don't get to judge what your eyes was watching for over a 6-month span is utterly ridiculous. He's a double murderer. He should be in jail for the rest of his life. And the fact that he's scheduled to get out in October, he might be the luckiest man alive.
Loquacious. Oh, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black. Screaming A. Smith is calling someone very loquacious. Shame. Boy, the irony in that. Now, this man continues to berate O.J. Simpson. He said the fact we saw the trial. Everybody got to see the trial. And guess what this man actually said after that?
As prosecutors, because if it were me, there's no way Darden and Christopher Darden and Marsha Clark did an absolutely horrendous job as prosecutors. Because if it were me, there's no way in hell Johnny Cochran would have beaten me with that evidence that they had.
So one of Juice's lawyers, who was on the trial, that worked with Johnny, decided to speak on the subject at hand. Once he heard Stephen A. Smith go on TV and say these things, every chance he get, he wants to take a shot at O.J. Simpson. Why is he doing that? Knowing that everything that came out in the trial,
I love Stephen A. Smith, but that is one of the least intelligent things I've ever heard from his mouth.
Really? You know, I mean, look, the guy can argue. I mean, Stephen A. Smith, there's anything he can do. He can argue with the best of them. He's a smart guy. You don't think there's a chance in hell he could have, like, put together a case more compelling than what Marsha Clark did?
Evan, I don't think there's any chance in hell that he could ever do anything near as talented as Marsha Clark.
Since Stephen A. claims everybody saw the trial, then you would know what that is that's on the wall. Since everybody saw the trial, it was on TV. What did they say about the DNA evidence? Do you see what that is right there? During the O.J. Simpson trial, the one you said we all saw, don't you see? They took his blood, they extracted it, and at every crime scene, they used this thing called PCR to mix into this container. Would you know that some of the blood that they found at the crime scene had PCR in it? Your body doesn't produce PCR. So that means somebody took a valve that was mixed at the lab down there, got access to it, went back to the crime scenes, poured it in the white Bronco. And not only, this is when the white Bronco was being taken apart. The inside console, they found blood all the way in the bottom, meaning that blood didn't go on the seats. It didn't drip nowhere else but in the very bottom of the console. How would it get there? Because that was inserted when the car was being taken apart already in the lab. There's no way that blood sample could have got in there. And that blood sample did have PCR in the mix. And how did you miss that they confirmed O.J. Simpson blood vial was missing and one of Nicole Simpson was missing, and Ron Goldman. They had misplaced vials. O.J. voluntarily gave up blood, which he should not have done. But he voluntarily gave up blood because he knew he was not the killer. Now, why didn't you do this? Because this ruins your theory, doesn't it? This ruins your argument. So, you don't know OJ committed a double murder. Because if they're willing to do this, why would you trust anything else that they did, Stephen A? Why would you trust anything? Mark Furman, who the prosecution knew was a confirmed racist. They put him on the stand. Everybody said this is a bad idea. Even the brother, Charles Darden, told them and his white superiors, who only used Charles Darden too because he was a black man, they needed a black face to be on the other side. This is what Charles Darden figured out later on. I was just a pawn. You didn't realize that, doofus? Then he want to be a defense attorney and still making bad decisions. You knew what Furman was and you was ready to put him on the stand because y'all was so thirsty thinking, we got all this evidence. Ain't no way he gonna get out of this. You got all this evidence because somebody, no name, no blame, was trying to create it to get that conviction, to make sure this conviction gonna stick. But that didn't happen. What you did was create reasonable doubt. And in trial, Stephen A., who you thought you were better than Johnny Cochran, boy, you done lost your damn mind. You are not Johnny Cochran, sir. No way, shape, or form. What he was fighting was injustice. Hell, they took Johnny out. Johnny was causing way too much problems and headaches for the LA County. Because Johnny was passionate. But he didn't put it above his principle. They brought up his marriage, his affairs. What that got to do with the case? When it comes down to taking care of that business, Johnny knew what he had to do. And he wasn't going to disappoint. No way, shape, or form. Johnny was going to deliver. And he did. And he did. So I'm proud of Johnny. Proud of Johnny for doing what he did. Did something for Black people. Furman and the LA group was out of control. Those tapes surfaced because it was supposed to. Like they said, manna from heaven. That was Johnny called it. Those tapes was manna from heaven.
And that's what it was. Manna from heaven. Because without those tapes, and the people got to public outside got to hear it. They kept it from the jury. They kept it from the jury. But now you can go back and listen to those tapes. How many other brothers that wasn't OJ locked up? How many other brothers? Railroad. They bragged about beating innocent men. They just broke in the house and just started beating a dude almost half to death. How you think when that black man heals, he gonna feel about the police, knowing he didn't do anything wrong? They did that because they felt like it. How that's gonna sit with you? And you taking their side. You taking their side.
Why Stephen A is bloviating like that about Jaylen Brown. We done played a lot of stuff before we got to Jaylen Brown. I wanted to entertain you. But now let's get to the topic after an hour and a half. Shout out to Dreamers Pro. I want y'all to hear the narrative about Jaylen Brown.
Of it. But as you guys know, recently, Jamel Hill and Draymond Green did a sit down on one of their podcasts, and they were talking about the ecosystem of sports media. And Stephen A. Smith came up, and Draymond Green had some comments about Stephen A. Smith where he's like, look, you're not even in these locker rooms, man, and you're hiding behind sources and all that. You guys know Stephen A. Smith has the issue with Jaylen Brown and all of that. And then Jamel Hill, who is a journalist, who has a history in journalism, she just was laughing with him and agreeing with him. Well, Stephen A. Smith caught a whiff of these comments, man, and suffice to say, he was not happy, and he went on a long rant. And I want you guys to listen to it, especially towards the tail end, where he gets into the sports media beef, because that's where Jalen Rose jumps into the fray. Take a listen to the sound here.
Now they're not happy about my opinion, so they come to my, and so I don't think it's approached with that same integrity that you're speaking about, which ultimately I think it leaves all journalists in a bad spot because you're not technically viewed as what you just said a journalist is. I'm not going to say anything on TV I can't say to your face. So it's like, if I say on TV, not you personally, but if I say on TV, hey, you flop. Yo, when I see you, I'll be like, yeah, I said you flopped.
What you laughing about, Jamel Hill? Somebody that's not in the locker room? Are you implying that you've been in the locker room more than me in my career? Is that the implication here, Jamel Hill? I beg to differ. I was a beat writer and an NBA columnist for 15 years. You just gonna sit up there and listen to Draymond Green and forget the fact that I was a beat writer, high school, colleges, pros, for the first 20 years of my career? And that I earned the right, graduating through every step of this industry before I became a general sports columnist, to not have to be in the locker room all the time? You just gonna let him say that? And there's no course correction whatsoever about the industry and the fact that my position was earned? Now let me get to you, Draymond. Ladies and gentlemen, before I say anything, you will never hear me say,
before he say anything, he gonna bloviate something positive about him. That's what he always do. We get it, okay? But it's interesting that he never addressed the comments at hand. People are saying that you are a entertainer, a plant, if you will. You talk about everything else other than basketball. You obviously lied because you said you would talk to anybody other than Jason Whitlock, but you won't talk to me. You said you would pull up, I'll come to you. When you turn in the brick, that's how you sound. But you will not have a conversation based around why do you talk about things in a way that's so negative and destructive that you cannot do? We heard a conversation between Shannon Sharp that sound the same way, based in little respect for what someone's craft is, especially when you cannot do it. I understand journalism, but you disrespectful ass entertainers that just sit and run your mouth because you got hemorrhoids and you're in front of a mic. It's interesting how you guys speak about things that you could not persevere and do yourself. So me personally, I would love to have a conversation with you, especially about why you went specifically to high schools and colleges about me. That's how you socially engineer the minds of other people. When you go to the youth, when you go to the younger generation, if you just wanted to tell me I was a bad basketball player, you could have told me. Why were you specifically going to the youth? You went grades behind me. You were going to colleges and high schools. So that's social engineering. So we just want to know, Stephen A., what is your origin? Who are you from? Where do you come from? And why do you talk so much, especially about things you can't do? Let me know when you're ready to have that conversation. It's got to come soon. You know what I mean? We need to talk. Okay? I can help you. Because right now, I know you might think that money is your God and you're starting to talk tough because you got more money. We all been there. I did the same thing. But you'll see very quickly that don't really save you from nothing. Okay? So let's talk whenever you get a chance.
A disrespectful word about Draymond Green. I love the brother. I think he's a good dude. Draymond, when you gonna stop dancing around issues involving me and tell him what's up? You and I were pretty tight. And then after the choking incident with Rudy Gobert and the slap to Yusuf Nurkic, I upset you because I called you and said it was difficult to defend you. I'm not saying anything out of pocket or personal because this is what you said to Shaq on his podcast. So it was already public information. It's the only reason I'm revealing it. I'm not saying anything else about any of our conversations throughout the years, my brother. We've never talked since that time. But can you at least acknowledge to the people while you're talking publicly, if we're keeping it a buck, that when you went on Shaq's podcast and you said that that's the first time I knew you were upset at me, I didn't even know. You never called me and had a conversation man to man. I never knew you were upset. All of a sudden, we stopped talking. Prior to that, I didn't have to be in a Golden State locker room at that time to talk to you. As is the case with me and a whole bunch of players y'all will never know about because a lot of players don't reveal that they speak to me. Nor do coaches, nor do executives. Because if you reveal that it's like that, how would I give access to the information I get access to?
Easy, Stephen A. You get access to the information that you get access to because they know you're going to run your mouth about it on ESPN, dummy. You are a puppet. You run your mouth. You take private conversations and personal feelings about a person and you give it legs. You were the only guy that keeps coming up with information about Jaylen Brown and how he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. The guy went to Cal. He might be the smartest person in the room. He might actually be smarter than your white owners that you so love to put money in their pocket. Newsflash, Stephen A. Did you ever think about that? And why haven't you, Mr. Q Dog, Mr. I'm down with the blacks? How come you never spoke on all the good things about Jaylen Brown? The Black Wall Street comments, his charitable nature, him going to actual impact the neighborhood, him being accessible to the children. Why don't you talk about those things? Because you can't not like a guy that's going to do all those things. But the reason why you didn't do that, you know why? You're there as a little Django, little punk. You come to the defense of Jerry Jones. You come to the defense of Dana White. You don't come to the defense of Jaylen Brown, a black man who is has no scandals, who is college educated, who go foreign and domestic to seek knowledge, who can build a rocket ship damn near. You don't take up for that guy. You don't say, this is a good brother. We need more brothers like him. He has no scandals. This is that. You do none of that. Why he look like he hurt? He always hurt. Salute to you, bro. You don't stand in the gap as an elder and say, I'm not gonna let you slander this man. I don't give a F if you think he's the smartest person in the room. Look at his work. Judge his actions, not his words. He's a winner. He's an educated man who has no kids, no scandals whatsoever. And you guys can't pump him up. You keep wanting to put one-sided narrative about somebody that we don't even know to be true. We wasn't in that room. We don't know what he said. We don't know if these owners might be tied to some racism. And as soon as Jaylen Brown said Black Wall Street, it took them back to a time where they burned and bombed the whole goddamn city because they knew what that meant, the independence that they brought, the circulation of wealth that it meant. And you got a league of rich players that Jaylen Brown brought awareness to. Same thing I've said now that I'm gone. He's talking while he's playing. He said, and I salute him for talking while he's playing because this is risky. Here it is. This guy can't make the Olympic team when he's one of the best players in the league. Look at the sacrifice that everybody always talking about they want a black person to make. Y'all need to make a sacrifice. You athletes need to make a sacrifice. Jaylen Brown sacrificed being an Olympian to build Black Wall Street and talk about it in Boston, a city where you know the tension. This man has done everything he's supposed to do as a young man. And what does he get in return? Silence. Why Ben Crump can't go for a living black man that's being crucified in front of the whole goddamn world? Ben Crump, do you only like dead black people? Do you only like unalive black people? Because that seemed to be the only time Al Sharptongue and Ben Crump come out is when the black person is unalive. Where's all these lawyering skills for Jaylen Brown when we can see corporations are backing off of this young man who's trying to build Black Wall Street and he's done nothing wrong but be great at basketball, who do nothing wrong but win and did nothing wrong but get educated. The same shit that y'all say we all should do. This man is being raked over the coals for doing it. And they're using media pundits like this clown, and they're using other media pundits to keep perpetuating a narrative that this guy think he's too arrogant. He's too smart. Now, we know the history when white folks talk like that. Jack Johnson used to have to win a boxing match and not celebrate the boxing match. He used to have to knock a white guy out and go, I accidentally did it. So we know the term uppity beep, beep. So we know there's folks, and it's deep rooted, that they do not like a black man that stand up erect and knows what he's talking about and confront you on things. There's women that don't like it. There's white, black. There's a lot of people. The most dangerous thing it seems to be is a erect black man, not in a sexual sense, but who will stand up for what's right and who will speak out and who is intelligent and who can speak with the best of them. They do not like this man because you cannot just tell them anything. You want to highlight John Morant, but then you want to discredit a person that's on the total opposite of John Morant and Jaylen Brown. How is that? Stephen A., if you want the boy to put the guns down, we got a Jaylen Brown that never touched a gun. So we know. Why don't we highlight the good things? You always want to talk about the bad thing. Why? Because you a script reading. Beep. It's simple. Jaylen Brown would have to pay them. No, what it is Jaylen Brown has the blueprint so that black folks don't have to make it to the league and then their wealth get transferred from one family to the next family. Jaylen Brown is trying to help expose what I said I was going to help expose, which is the go along, get along game. These players, despite the baby mama, despite the whoever else, you could look through all of these players' financial documents and there's a manager, there's somebody taking their money. And it's working in conjunction with these banks. These banks have accounts and have things that require managers. And these basketball players, they don't know no better. They just put their money into that. Businessmen and other people do not give their money to anybody. They are in control of their own funds. They don't have no accounts where they can't access. They have money movers, but they don't have people over their money the way that our Black community has it. The reason why we don't have a Black Wall Street or Black anything is because our athletes, our rappers, our professional people, they're not in control of their money. White people are in control of their money. These same banks and these Baphomets and everybody that y'all talk about, they're in control of these guys' money. From the agents, they bring them the financial advisors to the tax people. All of this stuff works hand in hand and it's in conjunction. When a player make it, the agent find them a tax guy. The agent find them financial people. And it's all wrapped into one umbrella to get on their ass. And at the end of 5 years, they don't have nothing at the end of the day. And then you guys believe it because you guys will be like, oh, it's an athlete. Oh, they always spend their money. Oh, everybody don't have that story. Trust me. But the one constant in most of the stories is somebody took some money from somebody. Somebody doesn't want Jaylen Brown starting to undo the CIA and the SPLC hard work, keeping us down at 13% by not owning nothing, killing each other in aborting conditions, not having families. We'd outnumber them by now, for real. Hey, you mean we? Let's see your goddamn face, boy. Yeah, slicker than the motherfucker talking about we.
It's your boy up here with the nation's finest. We up here celebrating Labor Day, saying happy Labor Day to everybody out there in the world. And that's it. We're gonna keep it going once again, and we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for all the support on the videos. Follow all the playlists, the truth behind the sports beats, the hip hop beats, etc. And I'm out of here.